That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
I can't believe it. Do you think that everyone asks themselves as many questions that I do?
So I was wondering, did you know that penguins don't have knees?
I'm really not kidding. Like, it actually happens.
Sometimes I'm just really scared.
I think you just really need a talk.
Let's go grab a coffee.
Welcome to a new episode of Little Big Stories, where ordinary people share their extraordinary stories hidden in everyday life. Today's episode is all about change. We will meet William, who decided to reinvent himself and head back to university in his 40s. This conversation is all about big life-changing decisions and simply take the leap and start over. Enjoy this episode. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Maybe if you could introduce yourself in a few words.
Yeah, my name is William. I'm currently 42 years old. And what can I say about me? I've got a PhD in cell biology. I was a private teacher during 7 years. And now I'm back to university, starting to study psychology. And so now I'm in the third years. That's fine for you. I like chocolate.
So it's perfect for Christmas. I hope you got a lot of them.
Yes, exactly. Apparently I was a nice guy.
You got a lot of chocolate in your socks.
Actually, I put 2 of them.
So if you would woke up tomorrow and had learned something overnight, a skill, a sport, a language, can be anything, what would it be?
To read in the mind.
Read in the mind? Yeah?
Yeah, should be useful in my future job.
But you don't think it would be like exhausting to always read in people's mind?
I think you need to shut up when you want. Of course, if it's something you don't want to listen every day, yeah, for that it will be a pain in the ass, of course. But yeah, if you can select only when you want, then maybe it could be fine, but it's a lot of power, I recognize.
And speaking of learning, so this year is a special year for you. You're going back to university after how many years?
I got my PhD in 2010, so now we are close to 2025.
So after 15 years?
Yes, exactly.
Wow, I'm still good in math. Just kidding. But like after 15 years, so that's a lot. What motivated you to go back studying?
Okay. First of all, I always like to learn things. So I know a lot of people, they don't like to go to school because they think it's boring to learn new things. In my case, I always was very happy to learn new things and consider that it's a real luck chance to be able to go to school. Despite I recognize that it could be also painful for a lot of students. And I know that because I'm also a private teacher, so I know that it could be really horrible for certain pupils, that's for sure. But I mean, even regardless school, I'm a self-learner. I'm able to learn a lot of things by myself. And in general, I prefer to learn things by myself. That's why I always have a book in my hand that was reading. And sorry, what was your question?
No worries. What motivated you to go back?
I think, 7 years back, when I start to become a private teacher, I follow a short course to learn my job. It was called, how can I say? There's no English word for that, but in French we say précepteur, which means the old-fashioned way to say private teacher, basically the précepteur, where the people were used to give private lesson to the rich people. So now it's quite more democratic. But at this moment I had to write a thesis on my work on a subject. And at this time I decided to ask myself a question. I was thinking that maybe there was a lot of different things that should improve before and in order to see school progress. If I can say an example, some students I got were like confidence, or some of them they had a lot of anxiety. Some of them were very afraid of math. And in my idea, I was thinking that, okay, you can make a lot of math exercise, you can make physics exercise, whatever. But if you don't have any confidence in yourself and your chance of success in the field, it will block your brain and you will not be able to progress. And to be honest, I thought about that because it was my case. In fact, if you look in math, for example, I was never really a good student in math. And it was really strange because I was a good student in physics, for example. So basically, physics, it's applying math. So it was really strange to me. And when I went to the university, basically unlock myself in math. So I did it by myself, and also because I met some nice and good math teacher. And at this moment, I realized that, okay, come on, William, you're not stupid. If you are good in physics, there are no way that you couldn't be able in math. And also, I was thinking also in French. I mean, whatever, basically, it could be math, it could be French, it could be English. When you have intelligence and logic, okay, logic is for everything. So I didn't think at this time that we should cut the brain. I think you experienced that in high school. They would tell you, okay, now you have to choose. You must be a math student, or you should be a literature student, or you should be an economic student. It's like basically they are saying to you, okay, you have to cut your brain in small parts, and because you are better student in this way. And I really never understood that. But anyway, you have to choose. And basically on this idea, I was thinking, come on, I think there's something wrong about that. And so on this base, in my professional perspective, I start to read papers on psychology. I didn't really want to read random books on personal development and things like that. I went to the basic. I did a lot of research about anxiety, confidence, motivation, how you perceive yourself as competent. It's really interesting to see that basically in the literature, they said that if you think that you're not good to do something, you will not succeed. They did some student on young people, where it takes a group of young people and you give them an exercise. In French, we say anagram. It's you have to. I would give you a word, but I mix the letters, and you have to put the letters in the good place and to remix the word. And it was really interesting because they gave to all of the students a group of these anagrams, and they presumed that they all are the same, but it wasn't true. And some of them, they had impossible anagrams. So they could do everything they want. They couldn't do it. They couldn't solve it because, it was the experience. In the beginning, you see that basically all the students that they have a good one, they say, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it, I've got it. And the one who have the impossible one, they are quite shocked. And they look around them and you can see on their face that they're not happy to fail. They did that, I think, 2 or 3 times, And after 3 times, the one who have the impossible one, they didn't even try to success. But at the third one, they have a word that they can do.
Mindset, because the failure impacts you way more.
Exactly, that's really quickly they think, okay, I'm not good to do that.
Yeah, so why should I even try?
Yeah, exactly. They think that, and maybe it's even worse. I think their brain can do that. Because they think, okay, it's not for me. I shut down. So I'm not saying that you will become a genius because you think you are. That's not the point. But it means that if you want to succeed, if you want to learn something, first you should think that maybe you can improve yourself in something. And if your confidence has been broken because you experienced failures and you did not have any family support or teacher support, maybe you will just shut down all yourself. That's why I think I'm a good teacher, because I know what is it to success, but I know also what is it to fail, and I can be in both sides. And especially in math, I developed my own ways to solve math problem. I really don't like maths teacher, that you are so good in math, so they don't see what's the problem. I will tell, come on, it's so easy. No, come on, you cannot say that. Could be really hard. There are so much way to do math. And that's a good thing, is that you need to find your way. And in my case, I really like to translate math in language, because I think math, it's another language. But when we are really good in math, you do it so much, you translate so fast that you don't realize that you translate it. But anyway, it depends on a lot of things. And my point is that you need to be really cautious about what you are able to do, what you think you are able to do, and what you can really do, in fact.
And would you say that it's because you are a teacher that you are focusing more on this psychological part of teaching that motivated you to study it afterwards?
Yeah, that was the point. I think when I did this thesis, I planted some seeds, in fact, and I really had a lot of interest in that field. So I think that at this moment, I start to think to myself, that could be really interesting. Maybe one day, you don't know. But there is a citation of a famous author, Dante in French, I think we would say Dante in English, and he said, be cautious of your childish dreams, because they will become true.
Did you want to study psychology when you were a kid?
I think, I think when I was in high school, I thought about that quickly. But, in high school, you don't know who you are. You don't know how it works. You don't know all the fields. I remember this time when you were talking about psychology, a lot of people told you, oh, there is no job in that. There's so much people can do that. You will not earn any money. You shouldn't do that. Sure. Maybe it was true. I don't know, to be honest. But I know that right now it's not the case. Actually, you can be a psychologist in a lot of fields. The fact is that we don't know the fields, but there are a lot. It's quite impressive. And of course, you can be a private psychologist, or you can open your own desk.
You said that at some point the seeds grew and that you started to think about it slowly. But at which moment you were like, okay, now I'm done being a teacher. This is a moment. Let's go back to university, because it's not a few months of training.
Exactly. It's a long process. So that's why first I would like to say that you mustn't to feel guilty if you don't change. I don't know how much people will listen that, but I know there is a kind of a mojo in the air saying, okay, you can do what you want when you want. And it could look like a paradox regarding what I said before, but in fact it's not. You can do a lot of things, definitely. But it depends also a lot of things around. It depends, do you have any family support? It depends how much energy you have. What about your health? Are you an easy or slow learner? It depends on a lot of things. I really don't like this kind of people saying, okay, whatever you want to do, you can do it. No, it's really not that easy. It's a long process. It's a window that can be open. And I think some of people will never have this window. Doesn't mean that they can do anything, but come on, you can do anything you want when you want. It's really more complicated. Despite that, yes, I think it was a long process. I think first you need to see a therapist first, because to do this job you need to do it. It's really important to do it.
To see a therapist, to become a therapist.
Yeah, exactly. You need to do it sooner or late. So better to do it soon. Why is that? You need to clean your mind. If you still have problems in your, and we all have problems, what will happen to you when you will have in front of you someone with suffering of something that remind you own suffer? It could be devastating for you. So you need to clean your mind about that. You don't have to be perfect. But I don't know if you had family issues, if you experience in your life some kind of violence, and one day in front of you, you are the victim of something. If you are not strong enough about that, you will collapse. That's really important to do it before. Or in general, it's quite recommended by the teacher in themselves.
Yeah, really. So,
Yeah.
like, your teacher during the year told you, we really advise you to see a therapist
Yeah.
if you didn't do it.
Some of them, but of course it depends of which kind of field of psychology you want to be. In psychology, there are a lot of fields. Like I told you, you can be a psychologist in the work field, or you can be a psychologist at the university to study how the mind works. So, okay, here is fine. But if you want to be what we call a clinic psychologist, meaning that you will be with people, you will be here to support people, to listen to people, you definitely have to do it, of course. So I think you need to see a therapist. Also to be, let's say, it's not only about to clean your mind, but it's also to help yourself to prepare to do that, because it could be quite a big deal. It could be quite a big deal because it means that your life will change. Your life will change a lot, and you need to be prepared of that. So that's why I said you cannot do that in the second day. And to be honest with you, I had at the beginning of the year, I proposed myself to be basically it's a student helper, for the previous year student.
Like, you will be kind of a buddy.
Yeah, exactly. I remember there was this woman that called me, and I think she was 50 years old, something like that.
50.
Yeah.
And it was her first year.
Yeah, exactly. First or second year, sorry.
Okay, so seem really brave to start now.
Yeah, but actually she didn't prepare herself, because she told me, "Oh, but should I really come to the university?" So yeah, I don't think I don't understand the question, and I think she was underestimated what you have to do. You have to be present. You know what is it. You have to be. Yeah. Of course, there is a lesson. You also work group.
So you said that it was a process. Were you scared sometime by the idea?
So I was scared.
Yeah.
Oh my God, yeah.
Yes?
Definitely. That's why you need to see a therapist first.
What was scaring you?
I mean, you are afraid of so much things. And the funny thing is that everything you are afraid of, it will not happen. And what you didn't think about, it will happen.
It's always like that.
It's always like that. I was afraid of a lot of things. It was funny because, I think it's really personal to one person to another one. But my first feeling was about the other student, especially the young student. I was thinking to myself, come on, how will integrate me, or will they perceive me, or say, who is this guy? He's so old. What is he doing here?
How was it?
Actually, young students were really nice, in fact. I was really surprised. Yeah. They were really, I was open-minded and basically during the first week, engage a little chat with everyone I could.
You were a bit the uncle of everyone.
Anyway, there are a lot of students that basically came from other university. So basically, you need to find the lonely one. If they are lonely, that they don't have any friend. And the fact is that in my past, I moved a lot and changed from a country to another country, but also in different area in France. And I'm kind trained to see this kind of lost birds in a place. So it's easy to me to engage a contact in like this. But anyway, you just need to be polite, in fact, because you just need to say good morning and to ask questions of people. And in general, they are surprised because they are not used to do that, to see that. And after that, they start to be smiley and nice. It's perfectly good and fine. But I think, to be honest, also, it was a good experience for me because when you start to become an old man, you start to have some, how can I say, prejudgment about people. And obviously, I had some of them regarding your younger people. These young people, they are like this, they are like this.
Do you have any concrete example of judgment that you had that maybe wasn't true afterward?
I don't know, to be honest. What could I say? Yeah, they like maturity, for example, which wasn't true. Also, after I have to say that since I started in the third year, so I avoid the first, second year, so the students were a little bit more mature.
Yeah, they're not just coming out of high school.
Yeah, I think also in psychology you have a lot of girls, and we all know that they are more mature. And but I don't know, even regarding, because we are used to say that I know we are a lot of people are used to say that young people that basically they don't know to think because they are so stuck up with their smartphone and blah, blah. And in fact no, I mean yeah, perfectly good to think. It's just different. In fact, I think basically this, a human is a human, whatever. So
And after the first semester, is there things that you are still scared about?
yeah, but I think when you are a human, you are always scared of something. So you have to accept that.
Do you feel like it's easier now that because now you're back, you had your first exams? Do you feel like now it's easier, you're more confident about your choice than before?
I never thought about my choice.
Okay.
That's a good thing. I mean, I never thought I did a mistake. No, that's a good thing. That's why I think I was really well prepared, because I knew why I was here, why I wanted to do that. And of course, if you are objective, it will help to endure the things. Because I have to say that the university by itself, it's not easy, but it's due to the way it works. I think there are so much students, so the condition to study, they are not that easy. We are a lot of people, we are more than 500. And of course, this year there is a lot of pressure, because it's like I used to say, it's not an exam year, it's more, they say English, concours, grad.
It's a competition.
It's a competition, yeah. Basically, if you want to start your master degree, you need to have the best grade. So there is quite a competition and pressure on people. You need to be the best if you want to be sure to have your chance to get in master. That was the thing I didn't think about that, because in my time, you had this selection, but after the first year of master.
Oh, okay.
And not on third year.
So you have more time to prepare.
Yes, exactly. And in my case, I mean, it was a chance because I basically skipped 2 years. But in another way, it was also a non-chance because I didn't have the time to adjust myself. Because, when it's about success in study, it's not only about how smart you are. It's about, okay, do you know the teachers? So, okay, I know this teacher, I know how he thinks, so this exam will be like this. In some way, you have to do some psychology with the teacher. You also need to be prepared to the sort of how the exam are made, because I was surprised also there was a lot of
Multiple questionnaire.
multiple question, and I was not used to that because I was used to write short answer by myself. And it's really different because when you have the opportunity to write you can explain why you decided that in this kind of exam.
Either you're right or wrong.
Yes, exactly. And sometimes you have some sentence and you don't know if it's a trap or not. And maybe you are making your own trap but maybe their teacher is making a trap. But I'm used to say the same thing to my own student. Sometimes I say, "Oh, you know the lessons, okay, but doesn't mean that you will succeed to the exam. We need to be prepared for the exam by itself."
You said that one thing that you were scared about was the integration, and at the end it was pretty easy. Now, looking back to this first semester, what would you say was the most challenging for you?
I need to find a trainee.
To find an internship.
Yeah, exactly. And here it's really, really hard because, I mean, we lack a place to welcome students. Basically, we are in competition between each other, but we're also in competition with the master degree student. So you need really, really to move your, sorry to say that, but you really need to move your ass to find that. And it puts a lot of pressure on the student because if you are not able to make your training, it will cancel your year, whatever your grades. You can have really good grades, and if you don't do your training, you will be out. So yes, that was hard. On the top of that, basically the university, they didn't help you for it. You don't have, how can I say?
Support or connection.
Yeah, but even in the calendar, you don't have free space to do that. So you have to find a way to fit it in between your lessons. So yeah, it puts a lot of pressure on the student. And I forgot to tell you about the young generation. I was really surprised by the way they help themselves using digital tools. They use Discord, WhatsApp, and some of them they write the lessons and they put it in this share folder. So if you are not able to follow the course, you can go on it and learn your lessons.
So you were surprised how the solidarity within,
Yeah.
even though it's still a competition.
Yeah, as I heard some students saying that this year there are less help compared to the previous year. So you can see there is an effect on that, but still you have this resource. But on the other end, I have to say there are too much things. And
Really?
yeah, and it's also a problem with the university. I can see the difference with the use of digital things. Digital is everywhere, and I think they overuse it, in fact. I will explain myself, but in my time, you know, the teacher, they were used to give the support for the different lessons on paper. So you have some little book with all the slides or the PowerPoint and things like that. And now basically you have to download it by yourself because that was the difference. I mean, I think I belong to the 5-6% who is handwriting. All the other students, they have laptop. And it's really, for me, it's quite a pity because if you look for study, research and education show that you will learn better if you write with your hand. But, of course, because of this digital shift, all the students basically they need to have a computer. Why they need that? Because you go to the lesson and then the teacher said, okay, now you have to connect yourself to these things because you have to download this file, or maybe we will make a WooClap exam, so you need to connect yourself, or they move the slides so fast, so you need to take a picture of the slide. So now basically my phone was in my bag, but now it's on my table because I know that sometimes I have to take a quick picture because they don't give you enough of time to write it. So that's really a lot of pain too. Some teachers they don't accept to take pictures. So basically they put you in situations that
You just need to write as fast as you can.
yeah, and it's not enough. So that's why you need to have some kind of solidarity also between the students. No, it's not easy to be a student. I really admire the young student because in their case they started from the first year with 1,000 students
Mhm.
in a really huge room. I think it's kind of the jungle.
And now, if you could send one message to William that's gonna start studying on his first day, what would you say to yourself?
Relax.
Yeah.
You have the skills. You are strong enough. The funny thing is that, like I told you, I have a PhD. I'm also an artist. I become private teacher, and still I don't have that much confidence in my way to succeed.
Would you say that because you were lacking of confidence, this is also one of the reasons that this topic is so important for you?
Could you?
Because you spoke a lot about confidence,
Mhm.
right? Like you spoke about it for your students, for yourself, that you were lacking of it. Now that it's the advice that you would give to your younger self. Do you think that it's such an important topic for you because you were and still sometimes are impacted by the lack of confidence?
Yeah. I mean, I had my first exam last week, and I mean, I was completely ready, to be honest. But in some exam, I did some mistake just by lacking of confidence. So I was a little bit disappointed by myself. I said, come on. The funny thing is that basically in the exam that, let's, if you take an example, biology, I mean, come on. I don't have anything to prove about that. Should be perfectly fine. And in fact, I think I don't have all the result, but I know that's my lowest grade in this area.
But maybe in that case, it's the other way around. Too much confidence might be the loss of you. Like in a way, this is the topic that you mastered the most. So maybe did you practice this less?
No,
No, not even.
no, not even. I liked this poem of Baudelaire called The Albatross. I don't know if you know it, but the albatross is this huge bird flying in the sky. I think he can fly during days, never putting a feet on the ground. And you've got this poem of Baudelaire saying that this wonderful bird, like it's like an emperor in the sky, and as soon as he's in the ground, his huge wings is an handicap, in fact, And he made a kind of metaphor about the poet, saying that the poet is really so good to be close to the sky, but as soon as he has to manage the reality of his world, he don't have any skills and he don't know what to do. I have to say, an exam is stupid. And sometimes when you know not too much things, you question yourself. And you read the sentence and you think, but come on, no, but I mean, yeah, but no, it could be this answer, but it lacks some, no, it's not precise enough. No, could be that. And basically you just mix yourself. That's why I think sometimes and I think maybe also because you have kind of pressure that you're thinking, oh, come on, in this field, I must be the number one because I've got a PhD in biology. So it will be a shame if I don't have the maximum grade,
So at the end, lack of confidence again.
Yeah, lack of confidence again, but it's also the problem for me. It's also the problem of the world. I really have problem with words because, like I told you, I'm quite a good reader. And nowadays, maybe it's also because I studied psychology, but even we use the same word, we don't put the same thing behind the word. And when I read a question, I always ask myself, but do we mean the same thing? And I mean, and some people, they don't even think about it as a command, just do it. It's one way. But me, if there is a word that could be, understood in different way, in a different context, I will ask myself, but what do they mean? That's why I was saying that I need to know the teacher. Because some teachers they will tell you, no, I don't make any traps. Don't don't scrub your ass. Go to the easy way.
Yeah,
Okay.
don't overthink
Yeah.
that.
Don't overthink it. I was like, okay, fine, I'll do it. And with one of the teachers who said that to me, my grade was almost 20 on 20. Well, no problem. But on the other hand, on biology, I mean, I know that the teacher like to mess your head with sentences. If they would use double negativity in the sentence, something like that, just to confuse you, in fact. And here she got me. I mean, and it's not a catastrophe, but still, I was disappointed.
Oh. And now that it's almost a new year, do you have any wish for 2025? Can be anything.
A wish.
Don't limit your possibilities. Can be really simple or like something that maybe some people would say is completely crazy.
A wish for myself or a wish for the other one?
What?
A wish for myself or a wish for all people?
As you want. It's really as you prefer.
Okay. For myself, what could I wish? I would wish a more balanced life, I
Yeah.
think. Because I have to say that I had this defect that when I'm not on something, I'm really on something. And I forgot to listen my needs. Yeah, that will be my deepest challenge. I need to listen my needs because I always underestimate and neglect my needs. For example, I don't know, I will stop to make sports or I will stop to make photography because I need to study. I need to study.
You're focusing on one thing
Yeah.
and forgetting a bit about also the moment, maybe.
Yeah, definitely. But on the other way, since I like what I do, I don't experience that like a sort of lack of life, but it's lack of diversity.
Maybe a typical student life, especially at the beginning. Or do you feel like other students are also the same, lacking of balance and really 100% focusing on that?
It really depends person to person. I saw some students making parties and studying in last minute. And there are also a lot of students that they work on the side, and I admire them for that. Yeah, one thing I learned is that you never can say the people, the student, the young, the whatever you want. It's always person to person. And I was telling you that I was afraid of the difference of the age, but in fact, I had connection with young people and also with people of my age, and it's just a matter of personality. And I fit a lot with young people, and I didn't fit with people of my age. I think people of my age are the worst.
Really?
Yeah. I think when you grew older, you have much more prejudgment.
Yeah, you're judging before knowing.
Yeah, I think it's because your experience could help yourself, but on the other hand, it could be a blind spot because you think you know all the things.
And you're less flexible.
Yeah, awesome. Exactly. That's one thing you need to work with your therapist. And I made a lot of work on myself on that, even on small, funny, and silly things. But, I had to change my mobile. Previously, I didn't need to do that. And I didn't want to do it. So I had to change my habits for your body too. We never think about that. But it's really hard for the body because when you are a grown up person, you can move when you want, in general, of course. But here, when you have a lesson from 5 to 8 p.m.,
You're sitting on a chair.
exactly, a lot of time we are not comfortable at all.
And you need to focus.
You need to focus. It was very funny because for an exam, the teacher said, it's forbidden to drink. You cannot drink during the exam. And I couldn't resist myself to say, are we allowed to breathe?
What did they say?
I didn't say it.
Oh, okay.
No, because I didn't want to have this kind of problem.
Maybe to conclude, could you tell us some things that inspired you recently? a book, a music, an Instagram post, maybe a TikTok, whatever, a person?
Actually, I'm reading a book, and it's funny because it's a mix between fiction and history, and it's about the rise of psychology.
Mm-hmm.
It's about the philosopher Friedrich Nietzsche. I don't know how to say it in English. And Nietzsche said that it's amazing to see that some unchained people can make free other unchained people. Meaning that if you are not free, you can save someone who is not free. You don't need to be free by yourself to save someone. And I think it's really, in the case of psychology, it's so interesting to say that because,
You have the name of the book?
yeah, actually, the author is Irvin D. Yalom, Yalom, and the original title is When Nietzsche Wept.
Okay.
And
And that's a good way to finish.
okay.
Thank you. Thank you for this recommendation. Wishing you to enjoy the rest of your Christmas holidays. And thank you for taking the time to speak with me today.
My pleasure. It was nice to meet you.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoyed this conversation as much as I did. If his story resonated with you, or if you're considering a life change of your own, I hope this episode will give you some encouragement, and maybe even a little bit of inspiration. You can find the link of the book he mentioned in the description. See you soon on Little Big Stories.